Constitution. 'Cause everything's crazy, crazy, crazy. They're doing away with borders. It's a new world. It's a new day. There is a new world order coming to your town. You better get ready. You better get ready. It's a new day. It's a new way. It's a new day. New day. It's a new way.
Evil lurks in the hearts of men. The shadow knows.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday night, and you are not going to believe what I got for you right here on Revolution Radio. Welcome to the Samsel Report. This is the weekly wrap-up wherein we wrap up the week's headlines. The phone line is up. The number to call in, 314-720-6835. Oh, yes, you heard right. 314-720-6835. So feel free to call in and be a part of the program. Whoa, boy, oh boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, our government is a cesspool of corruption. Our industrial might is a thing of the past, and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are being trashed by a treasonous, out-of-control government intent on enslaving the American people. Now, I know, it sounds just like something out of the Twilight Zone, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We live in the Twilight Zone. You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance. You are bombarded by the conditioning illusion projected forth by corporate and government-controlled mass media. A world of mind-controlled automatons, unable to think or speak out or stand up for themselves. You're entering a world where everything is just the opposite of what you think it is. You are living in the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone. Oh, yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We live in the Twilight Zone. The mainstream media is a weapon being used to control and dumb down the American people. Even as they are raped financially, their rights and liberties are trampled upon, and America destroyed by design. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it, okay? All right? And now it's time for an important message. That's right, especially for you listeners out there. Oh, yes, because this here program on Revolution Radio is listener-supported. And that means you, ladies and gentlemen, If you like this network and this program, then please send us money. Oh, that's right. Now, we don't want a whole lots of money. Oh, no, we don't want your grocery money. You don't have to take out a loan. You don't have to rob a bank. No, all we want is whatever you can spare. That's it. So please help fund this broadcasting network. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You need this broadcasting network. Revolution Radio is the voice of truth and freedom that you won't hear anywhere else. So, please help support informative, entertaining, fabulously original, innovative, cutting-edge, enlightening, mind-expanding, and awe-inspiring programs just like this one. Yes, it's the Samsel Report, and it is heard only on Revolution Radio. So there you go. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from beautiful Clearwater, Florida, this is the Samsel Report. Our first headline: Michelle Obama promises to confiscate all firearms before leaving the White House. Oh, yes, indeed. You heard right. It appears Michelle is not yet done championing her own agenda. According to recent reports, Michelle recently decided to appear in Chicago to beg for more gun control. Oh, yes, Chicago was an interesting choice for the venue, given that they have both the strictest urban gun control laws as well as the highest homicide rate in the entire nation. Oh, yes. Stick it in here. Put it in here. Put it in there. There you go. There you have it. There you go. Michael. Is it Michael or Michelle? I get confused sometimes. I tell you what. Let's continue on with our look at the week's headlines here. Our next headline: ex-Bush official Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson said, "I'm willing to testify if Dick Cheney is put on trial." That's right. You heard right. As former Vice President Dick Cheney publishes his long-awaited memoirs, Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, former Chief of Staff to the Secretary of State Colin Powell, said, "This is a book written out of fear. Fear that one day someone will Pinochet Dick Cheney." That's what Wilkerson had to say. He was alluding to the former Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet, who was arrested for war crimes. That's right. He said, Dick Cheney goes around the country profiting off of this sleazy, sensationalistic, self-serving book, basically profiting from his crimes, and at the same time normalizing the idea that these kind of policies are perfectly legit. Calls are increasing for the prosecution of George W. Bush and anyone who was tied to the CIA torture program. On Monday, the American Civil Liberties Union and Human Rights Watch called on Attorney General Eric Holder to appoint a special prosecutor who would investigate the crimes detailed in the Senate Intelligence Committee's report on the program. On Monday, the New York Times editorial board called for a full and independent criminal investigation. That's what we need, a full and independent criminal investigation. Don't you think? What do you think? Huh? Huh? You're riding with Wild Bill's Freedom Posse. That's right, you're riding with the Freedom Posse. Okay, all right. Okay, here comes our next headline. You're going to love this one, okay? Are you ready for this? Here it comes. Is no place in America sacred? Now, even Alaska is infested with Muslims, and people don't like it. Oh, no, they don't. Now, that's the headline. Now for the story. A relatively small Muslim community have put final touches on their first mosque. A 15,000 square foot mega mosque-trocity in Anchorage. Yeah, I said that right, too. Mosque-trocity. There's even a grocery store. All for the Somali Muslim refugees planted there by the Obama administration. But not to worry, folks. Don't worry. Oh, no. The Obama administration has this all under control. You see, in their infinite wisdom, they saw a grave humanitarian crisis here. There were simply not enough Muslims in Alaska. Oh, that's right. That's right. So they are burning the midnight oil at the State Department to redress this grievous imbalance. Because with all those whites, Christians, rugged individualists up there, well, that's just not diverse enough. But don't worry, Obama has the answer. Thousands of Somalis to broaden and enrich that heretofore cloistered, uncosmopolitan culture that they have there in Alaska. And you know these Obama people have all the answers. And bless them, they're doing it all for us, folks. That's right, for our well-being and cultural enrichment. That's right. The only question is, how many Muslims are enough? Come on. You know those Obama folks have that covered too. Because when it comes to enriching culture, there's no such thing as too many Muslims. Okay? That's right. So just relax, accept it, and don't think twice about it. The Obama people know what's best for us, and they are working at it every day. That's right. You're riding with Wild Bill's Freedom Posse. That's right, you're riding with the Freedom Posse. You're listening to the Samsel Report. And we have this important message for all you listeners out there.
Yes, it's Charlie Danger, private detective. Charlie Danger, defender of the Constitution. And now, Charlie Danger, private detective.
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road, and those who travel it today are more cunning, traitorous, and evil than ever. They got big wallets and big ideas and big plans, and they don't like anything or anyone that gets in their way. I ought to know. I'm Charlie Danger. It was a cold and windy day as I sat behind my desk in my cozy little office waiting for a phone to ring that lately hadn't been ringing enough. I sat staring blankly at the wall, listening to the sultry sound of the sax player down the hall practicing for his next weekend's gig. I was trying to decide if I should get up and fix myself yet another drink. Suddenly the door burst open and a beautiful blonde bombshell in a fancy evening dress that fit just right in just the right places strolled into the room. She stood there in her spiked heels looking utterly gorgeous and at the same time a little bit dangerous. I say dangerous because in her pretty little hand was a great big 38 caliber snub-nosed Smith & Wesson and the business end was pointing right at my ticker.
Yes, there are now 4 Charlie Danger adventures to choose from. Go to hiddenmysteries.com. That's hiddenmysteries.com.
That's right. You can go to hiddenmysteries.com where you can check out the entire 4 volumes of Charlie Danger, Private Detective. All right, you're listening to the Samsel Report right here on Revolution Radio.
Free your mind, and your ass will follow.
That's right, and no truer words have ever been spoken. Okay? All right. Oh, man. I tell you what, looking at these headlines, enough to drive a man crazy. I tell you what. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here's another headline. Lawmakers declare vaccines essential to national security after taking money from Big Pharma. That's right. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you heard right. Politicians from both sides of the aisle unequivocally throw their support behind the jab agenda. They're now pushing to eliminate vaccine exemptions and force everyone in America to get vaccinated. Why, it's a national call for medical fascism. Here's how it works. First, Big Pharma lines their pockets and swells their bank accounts, and then the politicos run around and declare that vaccines are safe and essential to national security. That's how it goes. Introduced by Representatives Adam Schiff, Democrat from California, Charlie Dent, Republican, Pennsylvania, Thomas Marino, Republican, Pennsylvania, and Peter Welch, Democrat from Vermont, the resolution affirms that vaccines and immunizations save lives and are essential to maintain the public health, economic, and national security of the people of the United States. So, there you have it. There you go. By dressing up in patriotic terms, such draconian nonsense, the politicians behind this decree aim to crystallize in the public groupthink the idea that vaccines are nothing less than God's gift to mankind. Without them, claims these corporate hacks, there would be a true public health crisis. So, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. What do you think about that? Huh? I tell you what we'll do with that one. Let's stick it in the corral with all the rest of them. Get on in there. Get on in there. Get on in. Get in there. Get yourself on in there. Get on in there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I tell you what. I tell you what. Oh, wait a minute. There's a few of them still. Will you get... Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Taking all that money from the great big pharmaceutical companies, and then they turn around and they tell you vaccines are wonderful. Vaccines are good. Vaccines are just what the doctor ordered. Get out of here. Go on. I tell you what. Let us continue with our headlines, okay? All right. Our next headline. A Marine was arrested for posting on Facebook about Obama. That's right. Oh, man, they came and took this guy away. They came and got this guy. What did he post to Facebook? He posted, and these are his words now, America has lost itself. We have lost who we truly are. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. This is the land of Thomas Jefferson. This is the land of Benjamin Franklin, Frederick Douglass, Smedley Butler, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King. This is the land where the cowboy wins. This is the land where you can start from the bottom and get to the top. This is the land where, regardless of your race and ethnicity, you can succeed and build a better life for you and your family. This is the land where justice wins. This is the land where liberty dwells. This is the land where freedom reigns. This is the land where we help the poor and people help each other. Your leaders have betrayed you. They have deceived our entire nation with this war on terror. They have gotten us to hand over our rights. They have tricked us into supporting corporate fascism. We gave them the keys to our country. We were not vigilant with our republic. But there is hope. But we must take our republic back. That is what he said. That's why he was arrested by the feds. He was released, of course, but only after undergoing psychiatric evaluation. They wanted to make sure none of his screws were loose, right? They wanted to make sure he wasn't crazy for having these kinds of thoughts and posting them on Facebook. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I tell you what, it's enough to drive a man crazy. Free your mind, and your ass will follow. That's right. That's right. You all, are you having a good time out there? Is everybody having a good time out there? Huh? 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 You having a good time? All right. Okay, all right. We can look at this stuff. We can look at this stuff. Sure we can. We can handle it. We can handle it. That's right. That's right. Anyway, you're listening to the Samsel Report right here on Revolution Radio, and we continue with our headlines. Our next headline. Oh, this is somewhat like the last one. Veterans arrested for anti-Obama Facebook posts. Police militarized for veterans. That's the headline. Veterans are being arrested by the Secret Service for making anti-Obama Facebook posts, sometimes the very next day after creating a post, a practice which has been going on for quite some time now. All the while, our police force is being militarized at an alarming rate, with veterans being cited as one reason why. This is revealed in a statement made last month by Sergeant Dan Downing of the Morgan County, Indiana Sheriff's Department. He said, "The weaponry is totally different now than it was in the beginning of my career. Plus, you have a lot of people who are coming out of the military that have the ability and knowledge to build IEDs and to defeat law enforcement techniques." That's right. So we got to watch out for these people, right? 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 We got to be protected from these people. Am I right? Huh? Huh? They're dangerous. Oh, yes. Maybe the people might actually rise up like I see us needing to do in the future. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. With the vets leading the charge. That's right. That's right. Man, oh man, oh man. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we live in the Twilight Zone. Oh, look out. Look out for them vets. Them people are crazy. All right, you're listening to the Samsel Report right here on Revolution Radio. We got a good show for you tonight. We got all kinds of headlines waiting right here in the wings. And we also have a special guest coming on later on in the show that you're going to want to stick around and check this guy out. Okay? All right? Okay. Let us now return to our headlines. You're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. Apple's gay CEO slams Indiana, yet opens stores in Saudi Arabia. Now, oh yes, you heard right. A number of high-profile pro-LBGT advocates have slammed Governor Mike Pence and the Indiana legislature. One of the more prominent would be Apple CEO Tim Cook, tagged in 2011 as the most powerful gay man in America. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's old Tim Cook. Cook took to the editorial pages of the Washington Post to slam the RFRA, as he believes it goes against the very principles our nation was founded on. Not done yet. Cook also opined on behalf of Apple. This is what he said. He said, "On behalf of Apple, I am standing up to oppose this new wave of legislation wherever it emerges." He will stand up and oppose this kind of legislation that discriminates against LGBT people, right? Right? Am I right? However, Cook made no mention of Apple Incorporated expanding to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Oh yes, the corporation has well over 14 retail stores within the kingdom, as well as numerous other stores, the width and breadth of the Muslim world. Oh yes, indeed. That's Apple. But wait a minute. Hold on. Doesn't a number of the same Muslim majority nations also adhere to Islamic Sharia law? Doesn't Sharia law clearly state that homosexuality is illegal? Am I right? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia takes it a little bit further than that. They take and execute homosexuals. They just execute them in the streets. In fact, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah, the powerful Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, declared in 2012 that it is necessary to destroy all the Christian churches of the region. Now, not finished with calling for the death of homosexuals or bulldozing churches, the Sheikh also gave the official thumbs up for a 10-year-old girls to be married off against their will. So, but never fear, Apple's gay crusader Ted Cook is going to stand up against anybody who discriminates against the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and the transgendered. He'll stand right up to them. He'll do business with them, but he'll stand right up to them and shake their hand and do business with them. There you go, right? Man, oh man. So there you go. You believe that? Do you believe? I don't make this stuff up. Oh no, I don't make this stuff up. No, no, no. Okay, so let us continue on. Let us look at our next headline, okay? Dead. Oh, this is an interesting, we're going to like this one. Dead. 125 scientists are dead. 75 high-level bankers are dead. And within 24 hours, 3 investigative journalists are dead. That's right. One only has to consider the large number of highly suspicious deaths surrounding scientists, bankers, and journalists to feel that something strange is afoot. Something is going on here, maybe. A Denver banker that supposedly shot himself 8 times in his head with a nail gun. That's right. The infectious disease scientist who was stabbed 196 times. He was stabbed 196 times. They called it a suicide. That's right. 3 investigative journalists who all died within 24 hours, very mysteriously. They're jumping off of buildings. They're jumping off of skyscrapers. They're shooting themselves multiple times in their head. One guy apparently ran himself over in his car. I can believe that. Huh? Huh? So many mysterious deaths. But don't worry. Don't worry. The time to start worrying is when the politicians and lawyers start committing suicide. That's when you have to start worrying. Okay? Anyway, if you Google this article or you go to my website, it goes on to list all of these mysterious deaths, all 203 of them, and the list keeps growing. Okay, our next headline. Cops respond to the wrong house, and they kill a service dog who worked with children with Down syndrome. For 6 years, Ian Anderson raised his beloved dog. It took just 1 second for a policeman's bullet to kill him. The police had knocked on Anderson's door, and when Burberry ran outside, that was his name, Burberry, when Burberry ran outside, the dog stopped barking. He stopped barking as one officer reached down and pat him on the head. Unfortunately, the other officer on the scene had an extreme reaction. The cop began yelling at the animal, demanding that he go inside. The dog became startled, and the officer drew his weapon and ended Burberry's life. Anderson laid outside, grieving for 2 hours with the body of his pet. Now, this kind of stuff is just getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous with these people. That's right. There isn't a week that goes by that I don't run across an article like this one. They're training the cops to shoot people's pets first and ask questions later. It seems that the first thing they do is shoot people's animals. And you better hope and pray. You better hope and pray that they don't shoot grandma too. Okay? What is it with these people? Put it where it belongs. Put it in there. They're training these people. This is what they're teaching these people. This is the kind of behavior that you can expect from these people. What are you? First thing you're doing is a knock on a door. It's the police. First thing you need to do is hide your dog, your cat, hide your grandma. I tell you what. It's enough to make a poor man cry. You know that? It's enough to make a man cry. I tell you what. Okay, we continue now with our look at the week's headlines. You're going to love this one. Police say beating of a white man by 3 blacks is not a hate crime. No, it's only when 3 white men beat up a black guy. Then it's a hate crime, right? Am I right? Where is Holder and Obama and Sharpton when a white guy gets beaten by 3 black men? In Ferguson, when 3 blacks beat the hell out of a white guy on the street, it was determined by authorities that it could not be classified as a hate crime. Only if it's a black guy getting killed or beaten up by white folks, then it's a hate crime. See? Oh, I see now. I get it. I see now. Okay. Had me confused there for a while.
You're riding with Wild Bill's Freedom Posse.
That's right. You're riding with the Freedom Posse right here on Revolution Radio. Okay? All right? Okay. Our next headline, ladies and gentlemen. United States automobile sales disappoint in March. That's right. Last month, they didn't sell enough cars. That's a great big economic indicator, you know. That's right. U.S. auto sales took a sharp decline in March. Americans are just not buying cars the way they used to. American cars, that is. Foreign cars are reporting sales increases. Man, oh man, oh man. Boy, oh boy. Nowadays, you can't tell one from another. They all look the same. They're all ugly, I think. Aren't they? Don't you think so? we're going to be going on a break here pretty soon. And so you don't want to go away, all right? But pretty soon here, they're going to go on a break. And in the meantime, until we go on this break, it's the burn up. We got a couple of minutes here to burn up. Yeah? We got a couple of minutes to burn up. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Look out, look out, look out, look out, look out for Big Sister. The Fusion Center and the TSA. They put you in the database. No, 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 database. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, don't want the database. Look out, look out, look out, look out, look out. Don't want the database. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 database. No, no, database. No, no, database. No, no, database. Everything is fine. 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 We're gonna go and have our break. Okay? Okay. Okay. Madison Avenue mentality. Look out, it's gonna get ya. Man is gonna get ya. He's gonna get ya. Oh no, gonna get ya. Oh no. Madison Avenue mentality. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Samsel Report. This is the weekend wrap-up. Coming to you live from beautiful Clearwater, Florida. We got our special guest waiting in the wings. We got some more headlines for you. You know, I cut up and I make a lot of funnies and then I play the clown and I keep you guessing whether I'm serious or not. But we are in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in deep, deep doo-doo. Yes, we are. And for all you folks out there that are just tuning in, that are new to Revolution Radio, welcome to the revolution. Our next headline. Tracking every citizen. DHS doesn't care about illegals, but they're really curious about what we're doing and where we are going. Now that's your headline. Here's your story. One of the federal agencies most responsible for the invasion of America by foreign nationals is the Department of Homeland Security. Its director, Jay Johnson, has managed the unconstitutional dissolution of our immigration laws. Almost unbelievably, Johnson has also ordered the release of tens of thousands of criminal illegal aliens onto our streets over the last 2 years. This same individual now claims that he and the agencies he abusively oversees need access to a license plate tracking database. Oh, yes. Oh, in order to keep us safe, you see. That's right. Of course, the assault on our Constitution is once again being conducted in the name of protecting America and national security. Johnson is soliciting bids from companies to provide his agency with access to a national license plate tracking system that, by the way, already exists. It's tracking virtually every American driver on a daily basis. In the effort to persuade the American people to just sit down and let DHS do as they please, DHS spokesperson Marcia Catrone said, "These restrictions will provide essential privacy and civil liberty protections, while enhancing our agents' ability to locate and apprehend suspects who could pose a threat to national security and public safety." Why not just get a warrant, one might ask? Well, that's the old outdated way. We've got the technology to track and trace everybody all the time. If this goes forward, DHS will have warrantless access to location information going back at least 5 years about virtually every single adult driver in the United States. So says the Center for Democracy and Technology. So what's the big deal, you say? What difference does it make? So what if they can track and trace every move you make every minute of every day? So what if there's no longer any such thing as privacy? Who cares if we all live in a freaking prison without bars? Maybe we'd all be better off if our daily lives were planned out for us by Big Brother. They could tell us what to do. They could tell us where to go. They could warn us when we're going to be late. If we're going to miss out on something. Why, everything could be so orderly and efficient. They could tell us when and what to eat. When to take a crap, when to shower and shave. Why, you wouldn't have to burden yourself with any sort of decision-making at all. You wouldn't have to think at all, ever. You could live your entire life in indentured servitude. So there you have it. Track and trace me, baby. Make me your slave, but keep me safe and secure. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do you believe that? I didn't like that one at all. I'm going to shoot that thing. I'm going to shoot that thing. Hold on. I'm going to shoot it again. I shoot it again. I shoot it again. There you go. That takes care of that. Put that one out of its misery. Huh? I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we live in the twilight zone. Oh, man. Look out. Look out. Man, oh, man. This is horrifying. This is downright horrifying. Oh, man. This next headline. According to the polls, it's going to be a Clinton-Bush election in 2016. Now, how do you like them apples? What do you think about that? This one is a freaking nightmare. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Jeb Bush. Oh, yes, I said Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton are leading the latest polls for their respective parties' nominations as the 2016 presidential election gets underway. This is according to the polls. Oh, yes, the polls. I'm not talking overseas polls either. Man, oh man, Bush and Clinton boast strong name recognition. They're easily the two best-known candidates in recent polls. So they have strong name recognition. All right? Okay, yes. Yes, we live in a nation where people cast their votes for the name that they recognize. Too bad Batman isn't running for office. Huh? Huh? Golly, Batman! Gee whiz, Batman! Man, oh man. Would you vote for Batman if he was on the ticket? Huh? Just 'cause you recognize his name? Huh? Huh? What, are you kidding me? Huh? Here's another one. You're going to believe this one here. This one is going to just blow your mind. Oh, yes. Florida agrees to distribute satanic temple materials to school children. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you heard right. The Satanic Temple will be distributing pamphlets about Satanism to school children in Florida since the school board's decision to allow distribution of religious materials. We are certain that Florida school children are quite familiar with Christianity, and this will be the first exposure that they ever have with the actual practice of Satanism. They may be interested in what we have to offer. So says a representative of the Satanic Temple. Now, the Satanic Temple recently came into the spotlight when they placed a 7-foot statue of Baphomet next to a Ten Commandment monument at the Oklahoma State Capitol. These people are troublemakers. See? They was looking for an in here so that they can start and the parents are freaking out. Parents are freaking out. I'm telling you. Okay? So we're going to keep an eye on this and see what happens here because mom and pop are pissed. Okay? All right? Man, oh man. Can you believe this stuff? Huh? Huh? John McCain. That's right. I said John McCain. You know John McCain. This past week, Senator John McCain of Arizona has once again proved himself to be unfit to hold public office. That's right. Oh, yes. During a floor speech he gave on March 24th, the senator suggested that Israel go rogue, and that if they don't, they may not survive the next 22 months of the Obama presidency. You recall that McCain is head of the Senate Armed Services Committee and a former Republican presidential candidate. His call for a foreign state to openly obstruct U.S. policy and in the process initiate a catastrophic regional war. So that's what he's calling for. We all know that McCain is a raving lunatic. He is a demented octogenarian. That's what he is. He has forgotten what country he represents. Okay? All right? The only people who don't get it are the people who keep on voting him into office. That's right. Oh, yes. The Israelis might have to launch attacks in order to make their point. That's what he had to say. They might have to launch attacks in order to make their point. I tell you what, Mr. McCain, huh? I tell you what you can do. Huh? Why don't you go live in Israel and be a nuisance over there? Huh? Huh? Why don't you do that? I can't believe this guy. Can you believe this guy? Huh? Here's another one. I'm going to throw another one in here. Ferguson protesters win $7,500 each for police use of tear gas during the riots. You heard right. Ferguson protesters, they each get $7,000, $7,500 each, because the cops tear gassed them. Ferguson, St. Louis, 3 police agencies have agreed as part of a federal lawsuit settlement with Ferguson protesters to restrict use of tear gas and other chemical agents on crowds. They also must pay each of the claimants in the suit $7,500 each. Why? Hell, that's enough money to buy a new high-def big screen. Yeah, sure, and a bag of crack, too. That's right. That's right. Russia is taking McDonald's to court. They threatened to shut them down in Russia. Oh yes. As another headline. I'm not even going there though. I'm not even going to go there. Here's another one. Obama signs on to a 20% military retirement pay cut. Oh yes, you heard right. You're going to cut the military retirement 20%. So, Obama's cutting benefits for Americans who choose to serve in the military, while simultaneously enlisting foreign nationals with the promise of U.S. citizenship in return. In the words of Henry Kissinger, military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. Now, when you look at it like that, it's understandable how the Obama administration can treat its veterans. So there you have it. There you go. There you have it. That's it for this week on the Samsel Report. And we have a special guest tonight. And I spoke to this guy a couple of times, and he is amazing. So what I'm going to do is drag him in here and bring him on. He has his own radio show on a different network. He would like to have a radio show on this network. But he's 16 years old. 16 years old, and he knows what he's talking about, okay? And on top of that, he's a paraplegic as well. Okay, Dylan, are you there? There you are. How you doing, Dylan?
Good, Bill. How about you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Now, Dylan Wade does a program. What is the name of the program that you do, Dylan?
The Truth Speaks.
Truth Speaks. And what network's that on?
People's Internet Radio and Awake Radio.
Ah, okay. How did you start out doing this? I mean, what got you into all this stuff?
A couple of years ago, there were the NSA leaks.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing research into that. Why were they allowed to do it? And it just took me down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, it's a deep one, too, isn't it?
Yeah, I still haven't gotten to the bottom.
Is there a bottom?
No, I don't know. I haven't found it.
So what do you talk about on your show? What's the format of your program?
Roundtable and interview. I cover just about everything if I have somebody with the right knowledge on the topic. I don't pretend that I'm an expert in the topic. I'll try to bring somebody on who's an actual expert in the topic.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do little talking in an interview. I do a lot more roundtables, though. I'll only do interviews when there's a specific topic that really piques my interest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does your disability prove to be an obstacle or what in what you're trying to do now?
The nice thing about the internet is it's only my voice. I don't have to physically move into a station and do my show. I can do it all from here. So it's actually pretty liberating doing it here.
Cool. Cool. And like I said, this guy knows what he's... I'm going to give you a subject. You tell me something about it.
Okay.
I'm going to get some questions here. Okay. Federal Reserve.
A shadow bank built by corporations. There was a trip to Jekyll Island that came from Hoboken, around where I live, where all the big bank executives at the time conspired to build this national bank. It was just a redo of the Bank of America, instated by Madison and taken out by Jackson. It was just a redo of it. It was a carbon copy of the Bank of England, and it was signed with, 4 congressmen in the building on, like, the 23rd, right, of December, 2 days before Christmas.
Oh, yeah, slip it right in there. Nobody will notice it, right?
Don't know how that's legal, but it's been there for 100 years now, and right after that, there was the Great Depression.
Right. And like we're not living in a depression now.
No, but it has gotten a little bit better. It since the Great Depression, it has gotten better. I think we'd be pretty blind to say it hasn't gotten at least a little bit better. People are eating now.
Well, the gas has gone down, right?
But
For gasolines, people aren't going broke feeding their cars anymore. I don't know.
But that's just a spike, though. It's gonna go back. It's all temporary. It's gonna change again. Especially if this new war erupts in Syria, that's gonna skyrocket.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think people are ready for the change that's about to occur.
Well, if it goes, people are just barely hanging in there right now because really it hasn't gotten all that much better.
No, but it has improved a little bit. Whether you want to chalk that up to the banks inflating pricing or something like that, if you want to chalk it up to that, that's totally reasonable. But even if it's fake, it's gotten a bit better.
When things go back to $4 a gallon gasoline, look out.
I think it's going to shoot up higher than that.
Oh, probably. $5 a gallon gasoline, look out. People can't afford that.
No, they can't. There's going to be a major uprising.
Oh, yes. But let's talk about Dylan. You have family, right? What do they think about what you're doing?
They're pretty apathetic to it all.
Really?
It doesn't affect them one way or another. To them at least. So they don't interfere with what I do, but they don't take a vested interest.
But they don't not believe what you're talking about, or they just
they don't talk about it one way or the other. Honestly, it's kind of frustrating because I can't really gauge how it's going.
Well, my family thinks I'm crazy. I think I'm nuts. They don't believe this stuff, and it is pretty unbelievable, isn't it?
I would love to be nuts. I would love to be nuts. That would make me happy to know that I'm nuts.
It would make it easier for you.
Do you want to believe some of this stuff? I don't.
Really. It's the police state, the loss of privacy. That's what really gets me the most is the total lack of privacy.
I was a complete online gamer before. I still am, but the privacy thing was a major thing for me. That's what got it all started for me, and I've always seen that as of the utmost importance.
What affected you the most? I mean, what is it that you would be the most concerned about at this particular point in time?
Oh, what affected me the most, and What I'm currently most worried about are actually different because what affected me the most, the medical industry. They don't know. They don't know what I have. They don't know anything,
Mhm.
but they do all these surgeries. Chalk me up with metal. They do it all. They don't know what I have, but they still do it. It's all a profit motive.
Mm.
So that affected me the most. What I'm most worried about is the uh, the situation in the Middle East and on that continent, because right now that is that
Flashpoint. Yeah.
yeah, that's a stick of dynamite just waiting to go off.
Hmm. Hmm. What is it? What is it about? Uh, what's his name? The guy that Syria. What?
Assad.
Assad. What? Why is it so necessary to unseat this guy at this time?
Well, if you take the U.S. at their word that they didn't create ISIS, I don't. They did, obviously.
Mm.
But even if you take them up on the idea that they didn't, if you look at the situation, they did. Even if they claim they didn't, even if I don't look at any of the evidence that they did, they still did because of the situation they caused in Iraq, uh, created a hotbed for terrorists.
Right. Right. Now, let me ask you this: Obama is wanting to bring 100,000 refugees in here from Syria. Now, to me, that's crazy. That's insane. What do you think about that?
I'm a bit torn. I'm a bit torn because, on one hand, the situation in Syria is horrible. It needs to be. The civil war right now is awful. There needs to be a change. But at the same time, we caused the problem. I don't know if this is us trying to make up for it. I doubt it. But anything that anything that saves lives, I'm pretty much in favor of.
Do you think we'll go we will actually have troops on the ground in Syria?
Yes, there's no question about it. There's there have been so many attempts to go in there. It's insane to think that we'll be there, but we will, and I don't know when.
Uh-huh.
My prediction would be by the end of this year we will see something happen, but the it's not just the Middle East we have to be worried about. Africa's becoming
Oh yeah.
becoming a bad situation now too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
And people aren't watching that closely enough.
Well, yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot about it.
No,
It
people aren't
depends.
watching it closely at all, and I think that's going to be the first wave of the New World War.
I'm going to ask you one more question here, and then I'm going to let you run wild and just go wherever you want to go. Fukushima. What's your what do you have to say about that?
Um, Fukushima was pretty much caused by profit and greed, complete greed, and it's being covered up by greed. I don't think there's a malicious conspiracy involving Fukushima. I think it's just a company, TIPCO, who's embarrassed that they didn't fix the issue and don't want any help. There's no malicious conspiracy. These people aren't trying to poison the world with Fukushima because they need water. They need clean drinking water. So I don't think there's a vast conspiracy with Fukushima. I think what it is, it's actually much more dangerous than that. It's corporations completely driven by profit motive, covering up what could be a vicious disaster for
Right.
the rest of the world because they don't want their image to be hurt.
Uh-huh.
It's much more dangerous than a conspiracy to poison everyone.
They are not telling us about the extent of the nuclear radiation that got out of there, and that is showing up on the West Coast and now on the East Coast.
Yeah, Fukushima is a dangerous thing. It is, but they're gonna do everything in their power to fix it. Even I fully believe they'll do everything in their power to fix it because this is the final nail in their coffin. If this goes through and it covers the entire world over enough times that it's lethal radiation levels, their plans are done. I mean,
Right.
what's the point of having a one world government if there's nobody left?
Right. But
So they're gonna rein it in. They're gonna fix it. It's just a matter of time.
do you think it's fixable, huh?
If it's not, then this whole colonization of Mars thing is gonna have to be sped up.
We don't know where to look first. I mean, it's you even seen the movie the Exorcist where the little girl's head spins around in circles?
Yeah.
You don't know where it's coming from next, do you?
No, and when you've got people who can falsify information about a situation like Fukushima and say, well, you don't know it's not true because they're not releasing anything. Well, that's dangerous. That's just as dangerous as not releasing anything.
Right. Right. Keeping people in the dark, which is what they're pretty good at that. So.
They're masters at it.
That's
They
right.
they really are. It's incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Internet radio will always be something I do. I hope that we fix it soon, so that we don't have to keep spreading this message for generations. I hope it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, I'll probably be here forever doing this. This isn't my career, but this will certainly be something that'll stick with me for probably my entire life.
Mm-hmm. The news is getting crazy. It's totally out of control, I think.
The one point where I'd actually differ with most people, I don't think there's going to be a violent overthrow anytime soon because they've already got us under their thumb. Why would they need a violent overthrow to do anything? The corporations already run the show. I mean, eventually somebody's going to force their hand, but I don't think they're planning anything imminent. I think they're just preparing for the worst.
Well, they certainly got the police state installed and ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's being
ramped.
ramped up.
Oh, yeah. I beg you see it in places like Ferguson.
Man, I was watching that very closely. I didn't know what was going to happen with that.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been something really bad. I'm glad it got defused.
Well, it could flare up again because that particular area is extremely depressed.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
I don't see it flaring up again, but it very well could.
Right.
I think you're going to see the Cleveland area flare up next.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. There was a shooting there of a 12-year-old kid who had a toy gun, was shot in under 2 seconds.
Wow.
I think, and the cops were found innocent. So I think there's going to be a flare-up in that area shortly.
Well, it wouldn't be surprising.
And I can't really blame people, honestly. I can't blame people. If I were living in that area and I knew that kid, I would be pissed.
They're talking about economics. They're talking about jobs. They're talking about the police brutality. But they're not talking about the militarization of the police force.
Let's look at the Ferguson situation.
Right.
And I don't trust them, but Ted Cruz and Rand Paul were amongst the first people to say that the police force was being militarized, and this was the result. Mm-hmm. I don't support them because to get to that point, you have to sell yourself out. So I don't trust them, but they're right. Doesn't mean they're wrong.
There you go. There you have it. There you go. the shows that you do, you can do 2 shows, right?
Yeah, I do 2 shows a week. I've been on somewhat of a hiatus. I've been having technical and health issues lately, but those are resolved, and I'm probably going to be back on air now regularly.
There you go. And people can tune in and check you out.
I'm on People's Internet Radio Tuesdays, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Awake Radio Wednesdays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So you know when to tune in to check out Dylan's show. And I'm sure you're going to find it interesting because this guy knows what he's talking about.
I have my wits about me much better at 4 and 6. Trust me. Trust me. I form more coherent thoughts. If this sounds like incoherent babbling, trust me, that's not what I do typically.
There you go. There you go. Well, there's certainly no shortage of stuff to talk about.
No, there isn't.
Oh.
It's funny. About 3 or 4 months ago, I was thinking, I'm out of topics. and then somebody threw me a list. And now I have like 60 topics to go through.
Oh, man. There you go.
But there aren't experts in all those areas, so I don't feel comfortable about doing them.
How do you put your show together? Do you script it out? Do you what? How do you put it together?
I believe if you're doing any kind of media, you don't write a script. I do everything. I do everything ad lib. I hardly ever write notes. If I'm doing an interview, I write notes. But otherwise, I just go wherever the conversation takes me.
So it doesn't take you like 2 or 3 days to put 2-hour program together.
No. I typically try to get a guest 2 or 3 days prior, advertise it, and then I do my research if I don't know the topic, and I go from there. If it's a round table, typically what I do with a round table is I discuss either a topic talked about with the people participating a couple of days prior, or I go over the news of the day. Okay.
Because it takes me 2, 3, sometimes 4 days to go on the internet and to go through all the headlines and pick out which ones you're going to use, right? And then, I don't know, playing with it, tweaking it, setting it up, doing commentary on it, do something with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Everyone has their own style to do it. You take a comedic route with it. You try to interject comedy into it, and for you, scripting it out works best. Oh, I know for a lot of people, scripting it out works best.
Yeah.
I want it to sound like I'm fully, like I'm talking to my audience fully. I take viewer questions the entire show, or I save them into a Skype or Word document, and when we reach a point where I can ask some questions, I pull from the viewer questions.
There you go. I don't get a whole lot of calls. I don't know whether it's the format of the program, I think.
I don't get very many calls either. I don't get a whole lot of viewer questions either, but when I do, I put them in. But when I do, I usually get to them.
Well,
unless the guest knows how to talk and doesn't need questions.
There you go. I've had a couple of guests like that. It would just, you didn't have to say nothing. You just let them go, and they just go.
Yeah, I've had those guests too. I find those are some of my best shows, and in a lot of ways some of my worst shows, because I don't think I'm doing very much in that show, and I don't think I'm bettering my style at all. But on the other hand, I'm getting a lot of real information out there.
Yeah. Well, that's the important thing, is to get the information out there. Roger Landry, I don't know if you know Roger. Well, he claims, what his thing is that we are the new media, and that people are turning away from the mainstream and going to the internet.
There's a lot of the alternative stream is a lot of fear mongering. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
People making big ominous statements that they have no proof to back up, that scare people and make them want to tune in more. I understand why they do it. I don't agree with it. So I try to keep fear out of my show unless I can 100% validate it.
Right.
And the alternative media is all about fear in a lot of ways.
Well, you got to be discerning. You learn how to be discerning.
That's what the alternative media has to
deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be just as aggressive towards our supposed allies as we are our enemies.
Well, I tell you what, I'm honored to have you on the program.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you should get a hold of management, talk to them, see if you can get yourself on Rev Radio, man.
That would be good. I'd enjoy coming on.
Before you go, why don't you sing out one more time about plug your program there, both of them.
I host The Truth Speaks on People's Internet Radio, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Awake Radio, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out. I don't have a YouTube channel anymore. The archives are a bit scattered, honestly, but I am working on getting a central space for them. Also, you can check me out at Climate Viewer News on YouTube. That station is not fully operational, but I am a manager on that station, and we have a lot of interesting shows coming out of there in the coming days. We've got Kevin Blanche, a nuclear activist. We've got Mike Montaigne from the Mathematically Perfected Economy. We've got a lot of interesting hosts and with a lot of relevant information. And I think you'd all be interested in checking that out. I will also be hosting a show on there. So People's Internet Radio, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Awake Radio, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. And Climate Viewer News.
There you go. So all you guys out there, all you listeners out there, tune in and check out Dylan's programs there. Okay? Thanks a lot, Dylan. God bless you.
Same to you, Bill.
Okay. There he goes. There goes Dylan. And you're listening to the Samsel Report right here on Revolution Radio. Yes, indeed. Looking at the news from a different perspective. That's right. Free your mind. Our government is a cesspool of corruption.
How do you like them apples?
We live in the Twilight Zone.
What, are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. What, is it me? Huh? Is it me or what? Huh?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How do you like them apples?
The Samsel Report.
Oh yes, you're listening to the Samsel Report right here on Revolution Radio. And we are about got the whole thing all wound up here. Oh, yes, indeed. It's almost time for me to be going.
Hello, I must be going. I cannot stay, I came to say I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same I must be going.
For my sake you must stay, for if you go away, you'll spoil this party I am throwing.
I'll stay a week or two. I'll stay the summer through. But I am telling you, I must be going.
That's right. Oh, yes. It's time for old Wild Bill to hit the trail until next week. Okay? All right. You want to come back next week? Same time, same station, same channel, same internet radio program. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you come back next week, okay? Because right now, the program is almost over. It's almost time for me to say goodbye.
Madison Avenue mentality. Look out, it's gonna get ya, man, it's gonna get ya. It's gonna get you. Oh no.